On the mail list, there's been some discussion about printed circuit boards. This is way too small for anybody to see, but this is $60 of printed circuit boards. Each board basically costs $1, 10, minimum quantity $10. And the vendor claims 6 mil spacing and 6 mil trace width and 6 mil spacing between the traces. I didn't push it that hard. I stayed at 8 and 8. So if people want to see these, I'll have them available for inspection. That's from what you want.
You turn one around on the table so I can get it on the camera.
Sure.
Great.
There we go. Okay.
What do they do?
These are a set of modular boards. A long time, over the years I've been working on modular electronics for robots, and this is sort of the third rev of all of these. Because these boards are so cheap, at $1 a board, I've basically been redesigning all of my boards to live on the 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter real estate that they give me. Okay, so this is a motor controller board that can drive one motor at 3.5 amps. I haven't installed the chip, that's the H-bridge chip. It's got a dedicated microcontroller on it. And then basically you string these together with a cable. Here, I'll show you the example. This is my robot platform. And I basically have a string of modules tied together here with a cable. So there's a cable, and since I'm in transition between one version and another, this is the transition board. But that's a shaft encoder. No, I can't see. I think that's the shaft. Yeah, dual shaft encoder. And this is a dual motor H-bridge to drive the 2 motors. And this is a board that drives the laser that I have on top, right here. Okay. And then you can't see it because I didn't bring it because it's big and heavy. I have an arm that goes up about this high, and that plugs into here, and it's got all of its electronics just running off of the same bus here. So we just string it all together. Okay. So that's what these modules are. And at $10 for 10, it's free. I used to pay $60 and get maybe 4 boards for $60. So this is like way, way, way cheaper. So I'm pretty happy. So that's my platform. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, we're all set.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. How many people? Is there anybody here who has not heard of the Nito XV11 vacuum cleaner? Okay, everyone. Somebody else. You haven't heard. Okay, so the Nito makes a vacuum cleaner that's kind of a competitor to the Roomba, and a Roomba, when it vacuums your house, it just goes and bounces off the walls and hopes that eventually it covers everything in the house, right? The Nito has a laser distance scanner in it, and it actually does simultaneous localization and mapping to figure out where it's at, and it's a much more efficient cleaning. So the interesting thing about that is, before that came out, the cheapest LiDAR that was available to hobbyists was, what's that Hokuyu that you have? Yeah, whatever, and that's like a $1,500 thing or something like that?
Well, it was less than that, but yeah.
But it's over $1,000.
Yes, it was over.
Yeah, so anyway, with the XV11, you can buy a vacuum cleaner for $400 and throw away all the parts that suck. This is the vacuum cleaner. And just take out the LiDAR. You've got the world's cheapest laser distance scanner. Plus you've got parts and motors and stuff like that. So anyway, here's a.
Sensors are cool too.
So yeah, there's sensors there's magnetic sensors and other infrared distance sensors. So anyway, that's what this is. This is a inside this yellow box is an XV11 laser distance scanner that has been liberated from the drudgery of housework. It's mounted in a little box, and I put a servo on the side of it, so that the idea is you should be able to collect 3D point clouds It's very easy to hook up to. I just have a USB serial converter cable that's actually powering the processor board, and this wants to spin at 300 RPM, and luckily, just about 3 volts that you get from a couple of AA batteries is almost right. Get you by for a quick demo. So anyway, we should see red dots. Yay! There's red dots. So let's see. Let's scan Osmond.
Which dot am I?
I don't know. so there you go. So the next, here we got some waivers over here. So anyway, the red dots are the distances, and the yellow dots are intensity. I did not write this code. There was a Nito XV11 hacking prize, and there was a guy in France who actually wrote this code that everybody likes as their demo code for doing the laser distance scanner. So anyway, the next step with this guy, since right now it's just it's literally held together with Scotch tape and hot melt glue. There's a new version of the Beagle board that is just coming out. That is, they took away all the video stuff, and the thing is only like $89. It comes with a micro SD card that will boot Linux, and it has built-in Ethernet. So the idea is there's enough room left in here to have a Linux processor with approximately the power of a cell phone, and with a little bit of logic, I think a voltage regulator and a couple of other interface components. The goal is to turn this into something where you plug in an Ethernet cable, plug in a battery, and you have a plug-and-play ROS LiDAR, laser distance scanning node. So anyway, that's the next step. But this is as far as I got today. It's just plastic and a liberated LDS. Tony, do you have a question or
No, I was
comment?
testing the system.
Oh, you were trying to
Oh, okay.
trying to be seen. This is the place to be seen. So okay,
So-
that's it. No robot. Just
And we
a piece
need
of
to
a
say
robot.
thank you for Nito for making this so hackable. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I haven't tried the video game Easter egg yet. Are you responsible for that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
Anyhow, we
Okay.
really appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you, all you Nito guys. Okay, that's it. That's all I've got.
Okay. By the way, I will mention that there seems to be exciting things going on in the small portable Linux processor things. This is a Panda board. We've had a number of people. How many people here have Panda boards? Okay. Okay. How many people here have Beagle boards? Okay. So it's Beagle board, Panda board. There's now the new Beagle Bone. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's this one that I'm looking at that's being done out of Oxford University in, I think it's Oxford University. I get them confused. In England, called the Raspberry Pi, which is going to be $25, size of a credit card, and will boot Linux. And it's also going to have some I/O pins that you can plug things on. So like, this is my Panda board, and this is a board that plugs in that lets me pull signals off and work with it. Okay, so anyhow, that space is happening. Okay. Are you next?
Yeah, I got something cool to show off, and I don't know how much longer it's going to live for before the battery
Go.
dies.
Go for it.
So
We understand about batteries.
I had this idea, and I wanted to see how easy I could get it to mount a Nerf gun on a Roomba and be able to drive it around. Turns out it's pretty awesome with the 80K. Once I... Okay, this is
Good camera.
this is a camera.
Point of view, gun point of view.
Okay, it's not working
that's
on
great.
this.
Target acquired.
Yeah. Okay.
Apple shift app.
There we go. We got it. So we got this first-person shooter rolling in the corner, and basically it's a phone connected to the Roomba, and eventually it'll be one phone, but right now it's two phones. The second phone is connected to the 80K, and it's basically running over GChat to control the 80K. And the idea was to make this as simply as possible without too much hardware modification. So the most complex thing was probably taking apart the Nerf gun. It's like 46 screws, and it takes a long time. But here it comes. And the other part that was a little bit tricky was getting GChat working, but it worked pretty good. And so you have the cellbots here to drive it around, and then you have the GChat over here. That basically anything you say.
I'm going to have a very short term of office.
And so you can drive this anywhere on Wi-Fi. And really, I know it's pretty simple, but the idea was to keep it as simple as possible without getting too crazy, and something that anybody could really understand and know how to make, and eventually release some of the stuff that resulted from this. But it was surprisingly easy to do. A couple of evenings. Best part is I got this working just before I went off to get married, so.
Cool. Got another few members.
So that's basically it. Pretty simple if you're interested in how it works.
Can we get him a little further over?
And the GChat, it basically fires regardless of what you tell it, unless you say stop. So please don't shoot me results in it firing. It's not very smart yet, but.
Or is it very smart?
Yeah. So. Good to go?
You used a bunch of Vex stuff to put that up? No?
Yeah, I just had some Vex stuff lying around, so
Okay.
it worked pretty easy to make a turret
Okay.
holder.
Well, very good. Thank you very much. Okay. William, could you take your turn up? Okay, while William's doing setup, who here, a lot of people have walked in. Who has robots to show? So we have another robot there. Did we get anybody else? Tim? And I can't see who's back there. Is that?
That's Camp, finally.
That's Camp, okay. I just couldn't see, he's covered. Okay, so why don't you start prepping up? Okay, are you ready? Not ready, you're quiet. So. So while he's doing the final setup there, I believe we have some club members who got the front page of Servo this time around. You want to talk about it, Alan?
Sorry, I wasn't.
Front page of Servo,
Yeah, so I actually have a copy of it here. If you haven't
Come on
seen
up
it.
and at least show people what the copy looks like.
Okay. Well, I wasn't actually quite prepared for this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I like putting people on the spot.
Basically, I've been sponsoring some high school kids for probably about 4 or 5 years now. They're all pretty advanced. They're kind of they do a lot of programming and and so we started and moved up to Robo Magellan, moved from Robo Magellan, tried to figure out what was next after that, and we decided we'd make our own PR2.
Yeah. That's a nice, easy task, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. So, and at last year's Robo Games, the folks from Willow Garage were nice enough to let us pose with our PR Lite next to PR2 there. PR2 is a $400,000 robot. Ours is not. We are now currently, well, 2 of the kids have now graduated. My son's going off to USC. We still have 2 of the kids left. Right now we're trying to make a finalized version of it, or the next version of it. One of my sons is making a CAD version, changing the plywood prototype into a kind of a PVC, much more PR Lite shaped and sized with an upper arm and stuff like that now. So things continue to grow.
Very good.
And so I have a copy here. And
Could you leave the folder up here, and then people who want to look at that get it. By the way, I'll just make a plug. Servo is probably one of the, it's one of the 2 magazines that are basically supporting robot hobbyists. So, probably should subscribe to at least one of them, if not both. And B, if you would do something interesting, at least I know Servo pays for their articles eventually. So if you do something interesting, write it up, and you'll get something. At least you'll share what you're doing with your friends who are doing stuff. Okay.
Good job, man.
Yeah. Okay, you about ready, William?
Yeah, I was hoping to get the camera working, but that's all right.
That's the way it is.
So I've had this robot here. This is my security robot 1, and I did a complete redesign of it and converted it from a 5-volt system to 3.3. Therefore, everything runs straight off a LiPo battery. I don't need the only step up I have is for the camera. Everything else runs straight off the battery. Just really simplified things. So I got an Arduino Pro Mini, not the Mini, but the Arduino Pro, which you can get a 3.3 volt version. Only 8 megahertz versus the standard 16, but so far it's been great. Added IR sensor, and I also have a custom circuit board to kind of minimize all the wiring and really clean it up, which I have. If you want to see afterwards, I can show you. So I used batch PCB if you want to compare and see their quality. I have that too. So and this has a charging dock, so I can charge. But now with the more efficient power, you don't need to charge as much. But anyway, so if you can see on the projector, this is the app I wrote in VB.net in Visual Studio, and it allows for IP control or serial control, and I'm using an XB.
Can I do a pause here?
Yeah.
Any of the smaller children, if they want to come up and get a closer view.
I have it on the floor because
It lives on the floor, so if you
Yeah.
want, you can come on up here. It's okay. We don't bite.
I don't trust it not falling off the table. So.
Right. It's not a tabletop.
I have sensors at home I'm going to put underneath, but they're not on there yet.
You can come on over here, and we won't just
I
to
don't
see.
need this anymore. So go ahead.
Go right here. Right here. That's okay. Good. Just so you can see.
Let's see. So you can set the speed and the turn speed separate. And you can either use the buttons or you can just use the keyboard, and it should move.
There we go.
Here, I want to use the keyboard. So it's built on, the charger's on board, so the dock really doesn't need to have any electronics on it, just the strips. The camera can see at night. And then there's the IR sensor in front. Works pretty well, a lot better than my other robot. If you've seen that one didn't work so well. It works. This version works really, really well, and having the custom circuit board wasn't too hard to do. Got to learn Eagle, and it works really, really well. So I'm really happy with it. And the motor controller is a SparkFun motor controller, and my other robot has a serial one. This one's direct talking to the motor controller. So I'm really happy the way this turned out, and the XP range in here is the best. And when that happens, we turn too much. Yeah, I haven't figured out if anybody has a suggestion on how to stop that from happening. I really so it's worse on like actual carpet, but
So perennial problem.
yeah.
The military solved it, but they spend a lot more money on their solutions.
So, yeah. Oh, and it also plays music just like the other one. There. Let's see. And then on this board, there's a temp sensor and a photocell. So if I click on temp, I should get. Oh wait, I can't do anything while it's playing. It's not listening to the buffer, so. There we go. So 75.72. Now it's going to be a little warmer because the sensor's actually in there, so I can actually monitor the electronics. And then there's also a light sensor, so 703. It's from this photocell right here. So I threw everything. I pretty much am using every pin on the Arduino. Pretty much everything's used except for one pin. So I'm really happy the way the board turned out. And there's a fuel cell, or fuel. They call it a fuel gauge, but it's a battery monitor, so it spits out the actual percentage, 97.34%. So you don't have to worry about voltage dividers or anything. It's just straight up percentage, and it doesn't need to learn either. You can just hook it up to any battery, and it'll figure out the battery load percentage for a LiPo anyway. There's no learning.
After some charge discharge
No, it
cycles,
just
or
does
just
it.
right off knows it.
Right off the bat, it's a Maxim, I don't know the chip number, but if you go to a website called DSS Circuits, he sells it already broken out. And it works really, really well. And he has some other cool I2C devices too, so that's an I2C device.
Good.
So if you want to see it later, you can.
Okay.
You can play with it. So
Okay.
anyways, there it is.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Oh, and I have a first-gen Roomba if anybody wants it. It's not the one you can hack, but I'm sure the parts off of it are useful, and it works. Just the battery life is very poor. But other than that, if anybody wants it, come get it for me. I want to get rid of it. I'm not.
You're welcome to stay here, Mike. Look at that small robot. We wanted you to see the small robot.
Okay, who's next? Brutus? Let's do Brutus. Here, let me make some table space for you.
All right. This is my latest robot, Brutus. He made his debut in September. Any of you who saw him then, nothing outwardly has really changed. In the meantime, I've been designing subsystems and started to cut some parts. I plan to add a mezzanine board, and his motor controller has come in, and I'm planning to get the wiring going for that. I'll have a couple of Arduinos to handle the bumpers and the motor control to the motor controller. Up here is the laptop bay, and probably somewhere in the middle will be a Panda board. The drive is with Wayne's is the BaneBot motors and transmission and wheels. Makes a very nice system. Mine are obviously orange, and he picked the green.
Yeah, the green has a little better traction, is what they say.
I didn't want too much.
No.
And
And hopefully your electronics, when it's done, will look better than mine.
I like pretty.
Yeah, that's good. I'm not winning contest here.
So yeah. So far, this has all been done pretty much at Tech Shop. The platforms are plywood. They were cut on the ShopBot, and then a lot of finish work went into them, as well as the bumpers. It has the Bob patented bumper system.
He's out walking.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. So he can't comment.
Ah,
I've yet to, like I said, there's going to be a lot of wiring done, and that's not my favorite job. So we'll see how he goes for making another appearance in January.
okay, good. You ready yet, Camp?
No, I'm not ready, but I'll go ahead. I had a great time with the TurtleBot this week. Of course, it's up for checkout next week. If any of you guys, I'm sure you guys, anybody, or have we already lined up who's going to take it next month?
No, I figured, we could do
Shall I
that.
ask?
We should ask. Who wants to take a TurtleBot home? It's going to be a 2-month thing because we don't have a meeting in December. Because if not, I'm sure you'll take it for another time.
No, I will. I'll put together a handbook for it.
Okay.
Now, look, guys, this is a great experience.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm going to chastise you a bit. If you're not building robots, you're missing the point, okay? Now is the time. The stuff is really happening, and so
Yeah.
get on board. This is, it's like network administration on wheels. It's really a blast. Especially some of your old timers, know Unix, jump into this Ubuntu. It's a great experience in and to itself. You got narrow range LiDAR, narrow beam LiDAR, and the Connect. I mean, in the next 10 or 20 years, we're going to have autonomous mobile robots roaming around all over the place, and a lot of folks are going to be wondering, where did this come from? And
Right
build
here.
robots.
And Willow Garage and a few other places.
Say, we mentioned the Curiosity rover.
No, that hasn't been talked about.
Curiosity is on its way to Mars. This is exciting stuff, folks.
Yeah.
It's like the size of a Mini Cooper, and it's got a nuclear power plant on board, so it'll last for years. It's got a laser. It's got
At least until it crashes.
well, and I hated to see the Russian capsule not break low Earth orbit, because this is humankind kind of thing.
Yeah, I know.
That we need to be getting into space and exploring these things. Politics and countries and stuff. This robot, Curiosity, costs a ton. Unlike Spirit and Opportunity, which was done on the cheap and obviously achieved spectacular results. We've been exploring Mars for six years for a little more than $200 million. Curiosity costed $2.6 billion, and so we better not screw up. Anyways, this is robotics. Dull, dirty, dangerous, yes, but the where we really shine is the inaccessible. Yeah, I had a great time with the TurtleBot. I'll take it for another month. Work with these guru guys back here. Maybe we should upgrade it to electric or something like that to put together some little handbook and have at it. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So, any other show and tell? Yeah, sorry, I forgot about you. My apologies.
Actual thing.
Yes.
I'm the Ross with 2 S's. What I have here tonight doesn't have batteries or wheels, so I don't have the danger of something failing. But what it is, it's something that started off as a PIC device out of actually what is for me is a great set of, this is one of a set of 2 books by Carl Williams that he literally has the plans to cut and bits of metal you buy at the metal shop, of which there's still a couple around, and as a newbie Arduino, I was encouraged to put this one together and actually have another one on the way that's a hex device. Anyway, it's a walker.
Where have I seen that shape before?
Yeah, I know. Yes, it has motor inside, of course the IR in the front, and it, like I said, it doesn't have batteries, so you don't have the embarrassment of actually showing it actually working.
What are those devices hanging below the box then?
Those are the batteries.
But that you don't have any batteries?
No, there's no batteries in it, that's right. But that's,
Okay.
that's where they'll go. But if the batteries were in it, it would do this.
Oh, okay.
And there's it's very simple. I can't wait to get the programming working and messing with it. There's a couple of pots to measure the position of the leg so it knows what to do. So I'm going to add, just coming here,
Yeah.
I'm going to add another IR pointing down.
Yeah.
So it'll be a table.
Tabletop pot.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Yeah. That's great.
Can't lose at that.
So I hope to show it. Actually, no, I better not make a promise.
No, just bring it even if it's not working yet.
Bring it in some form. That's right.
Bring it in some form.
Great.
Progress reports are going. Okay. Do we have any more robots for show and tell? No? Okay. Well, in that case, what we're going to do,
How about yours? Talk more about yours.
well, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I've been showing this off and on, so I don't want to overstay my thing. This thing wanders around my living room now, pretty much autonomously. I can go here, go there. It uses the camera pointing up at the ceiling and I have little fiducial markers up on the ceiling. And so this is a $100 router that I've repurposed to run Linux. And this is like I don't know how much this camera costs. Somebody gave it to me, but I think it's about a $20 camera that I use to point at the ceiling. And so I get navigation, localization, and all that stuff for very cheap. And it works. I mean, I can't show it here because I don't have a ladder to crawl up in the ceiling. But what do you guys think if I put fiducials on your ceiling in here?
Fine by me.
Fine by you? You wouldn't get fired.
Not in the name of robots.
Not in the name of robots. Okay. So maybe in January I will come here with a ladder and we'll put some fiducials up and we'll show it working. But anyhow, basically I think localization is becoming a solved problem. Okay, so we need to move on and start doing more other kinds of robotics. Do you have any other questions? I've explained what the electronics and everything. So, okay, with that, I think we should take a couple minute break. So if people want to go to the restroom or something, and then we'll get our speaker going. Our speaker will be Sam Walt. I I may have bad, Waldman? Did I get it right?
It's actually going to be Russ Ankle.
What?
I'm here to wear the exoskeleton.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, it's gonna be, I got the name wrong, okay. So Russ will be giving the talk, and Sam, who gave a talk about a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, last November, I think, will be here to help out. Okay, so let's take just a few minute break, and then we'll get the talk going.